Honey?
It's flammable.
When I saw the trailer for this film, I was so hyped. Like my expectation went, oh, this is going to be one of Statham's best. I would say, drop your expectation, go in knowing what this film is. Everything you've seen in the trailer what this film is. But it doesn't have a deep meaning story. There isn't going to be deep, dark, brooding theatrical dialogue that will make you go, oh, I'm so emotionally engaged. For the most part, it's a play-by-numbers film. But let's talk about it. In The Beekeeper, one man's brutal campaign for vengeance takes on national stakes after he is revealed to be a former operative of a powerful and clandestine organization known as Beekeepers. There are many films where Statham showcases his talent for his fast martial arts, the way he looks on film, and his believability in those moves. I've seen so many that are, for me, returns. I often will go back and re-watch them. There's a number of Jason Statham films that are just films that I can stick on at any point. And this film is that classic kind of thing. Someone is willing to look after him, that person gets injured, and now he's going to basically take revenge on that. He is one of those, I used to be a special forces agent, the best of the best. In fact, I'm an agent that the best of the best call upon. These are my skills. So we're already setting him up with those skills. So when he's taking on groups of bad guys, you know what to expect, and it's going to be showcased on screen. The problem is we have a number of basic bad guys being bad for the sake of being bad. So when he takes them out, there isn't really any kind of storyline with the bad guys. They're pretentious, rich, have been given all this money and end up just wanting to make more money. It's greed, and that's what's on showcase here. So you don't mind Jason Statham's character taking them out. Also don't see anybody else as Jason Statham, like his character. He's supposed to be Adam Clay. I just see Jason Statham. That's not to say I don't want him to be Jason Statham and doing what Jason Statham does. How many times can you say Jason Statham in one sentence? Josh Hutcherson is in this, and he plays one of the bad guys. I think the character he's trying to play is like a complete opposite of any good characters he's trying to play, and almost overacts it. He's like the douchiest douchebag that we want him to die, and I think for this type of film it kind of works. It's directed by David Ayer, and if you know what to expect by David Ayer films, then you kind of see what's on showcase here with the cinematography. I'm probably selling it better than it is, because for me, my wife and I watched this together, and we are big Jason Statham fans. We know what to expect when going in this, and maybe because our expectation was this high and the film is actually mid tier, I would say there's a bunch of action sequences here that are good, but you've seen them before from him in films like the Transporter series, for example. There are better stunts and choreographed martial art moves that are more fun to watch than some of the stuff in here. Now don't get me wrong, everything you've seen in the trailer, that's there and a little bit extended. But for the most part, what you've seen in the trailer is what you get from the film. I enjoyed it as a one-time watch, but I can't say that it's top tier of his work. Out of all the stuff that he's done, there's a plethora of some good, some excellent, and not some so good. And for me, this just sticks into that middle. The choreographed action scenes, seeing Jason Statham do what he does best, is always fun. The score and the cinematography, for the most part, is good, but there is some quick cutting that you don't get to see what's happening with the action. Sometimes you'll see a knife being flicked over one side, it'll cut to the other side. When they're doing that, it's frustrating because you know how good these guys are and you want to see it. That is my biggest irk when it comes to choreographed action scenes. I want to see them displayed. Allow me to see the time that you spent in it. I would say the color palette for the cinematography is great, with the score that you get in it. In places when we're inside buildings, the atmosphere created in there works well, and Jason Statham always manages to hold presence of that character, that moody guy that we know and love. The way that he kind of walk onto screen, he's like, oh, they're in it for it now. That's exactly what you get in here. It just isn't that high tier for me that I was expecting. So if you're venturing out to the cinema to watch this, lower your expectations somewhat, then you may come out going, yeah, that was really good. If you know what to expect, then I think it's going to tick the boxes if you're a fan of it. If you're not a fan of these type of films, don't go thinking John Wick level because it isn't quite that yet. But I still enjoyed it for what it was. So this is 3 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one.
Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.